You know the names: Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro. But we are so far past the point of just simple weight loss injections. Okay, let's dive into this explainer because what we're actually mapping today is an explosive paradigm shift in modern medicine. These drugs, they're completely rewiring the human body and the human brain. To really grasp the scale of this, think about Oprah Winfrey's recent realization she absolutely nailed it when she said obesity isn't some moral failing, it's a gateway disease. And the numbers behind that are literally terrifying. Look, if you're a woman with obesity, your risk for heart disease jumps by 50%. For a guy, 70%. Add type 2 diabetes into the mix, and that risk skyrockets to 90%. So by treating the root cause with GLP-1s, we're not just altering waistlines here. We are actively blocking a cascade of up to 200 life-threatening conditions. And you can see this whole zeitgeist spreading like wildfire everywhere. I mean, just open social media and look at the GLP-1 scramble. It's this massive bowl of kabocha squash, egg whites, and 0% Greek yogurt. It's basically biohackers and fitness influencers making a really valiant attempt to mimic the drug's effects by just aggressively stretching their stomach so they feel full. But here's the thing. The biological reality of actual GLP-1 medications, it goes far, far deeper than just feeling physically stuffed. Which forces us to ask a pretty crucial question. What are these drugs actually doing inside your brain and body? Because they are acting as way, way more than just a quick fix to drop some pounds. They've essentially opened a biological Pandora's box, infiltrating our cardiovascular system, our kidneys, and get this, even the deep pleasure centers of our brain. Let's actually look at the hard data. Take the SELECT trial, for example. This was a massive, incredibly rigorous study of over 17,000 patients published in the New England Journal of Medicine. And the data just absolutely proves that semaglutide drops the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and cardiovascular death by a staggering 20% in non-diabetic patients. How? Well, it drastically cuts down inflammation. It actually drops key inflammatory markers almost exactly like how statins work, literally improving the physical health of our blood vessels. And then there's the FLOW trial. This one focused on the kidneys. And it's a landmark study because it was actually stopped early. Why would they do that? Because the data was so undeniably good that researchers realized it was highly unethical to keep the placebo group off the real drug. It showed a 24% lower risk of major kidney disease events, including outright kidney failure. The drug literally hits the brakes on the loss of kidney function. So what we're witnessing right now is just an absolute drumbeat of medical breakthroughs. Scientists are realizing that the GLP-1 receptor isn't just in the gut, it's scattered all throughout the body's immune system and intrinsic organ cells. It practically turns the drug into a systemic shield. That's why we're seeing FDA approvals rolling in not just for weight loss, but for heart health, kidney protection, and even moderate to advanced MASH fibrosis in the liver. It's truly wild. But let's push into the neurological frontier because honestly, this is where it gets fascinating. Sure, physically, the drug slows down your stomach, delays gastric emptying so food just sits there longer. But simultaneously, it's doing something completely different upstairs. It is fundamentally altering the dopamine reward pathways deep inside your brain. It is literally rewriting how your mind values a reward, essentially flipping a switch to turn off that primal craving for high-calorie foods. And because it reshapes how the brain values reward, we're seeing some pretty unbelievable secondary effects. For instance, in patients dealing with alcohol use disorder, those taking semaglutide saw a massive 41% drop in heavy drinking days, compared to just 26% on the placebo. By dampening those dopamine spikes in the brain's pleasure centers, the drug practically silences the compulsive desire to drink. I mean, we're talking about a massive potential new frontier for addiction treatment here. This exact same protective brain mechanism is why these massive phase 3 trials called the EVOKE trials are happening right now. Researchers are trying to figure out if semaglutide can cool down brain inflammation enough to actually slow the progression of early-stage Alzheimer's disease. If these results come back positive, wow. It would completely flip how we manage cognitive decline, offering real, tangible hope for a disease that has baffled scientists for decades. But look, every medical miracle has a biological cost, right? The Step 1 extension trial revealed a pretty stark reality. Just 12 months after stopping the medication, participants regained roughly 2/3 of their lost weight. And with that weight came the reversal of all those amazing cardiometabolic benefits we just talked about. 2/3 gone, just like that. So why does that happen? Well, basically, your biology fights back. People aren't regaining the weight because they lack willpower or had some kind of moral failure. No, the literal moment you stop the medication, you trigger a massive biological rebound. your temporarily suppressed hunger hormones, especially ghrelin, they surge back with an absolute vengeance. Your brain, which has been artificially satisfied for months, suddenly wakes up and screams that you're starving. We absolutely have to look impartially at the dark side of this paradigm shift. Because it slows digestion so severely, extreme cases can lead to gastric paralysis, where your stomach basically just stops emptying. Plus, that rapid weight loss, it strips away not just fat, but crucial muscle mass and physical strength. There are real concerns over potential gallstones, rodent-based thyroid tumor warnings, and some patients even report this like flattened emotional landscape. Because think about it. If you blunt the dopamine spikes for food and alcohol, you might also dampen your everyday emotional joy. And when you zoom out, the surging pipeline of new uses for these drugs means that employers, Medicaid, and global healthcare systems are on a high-speed collision course with reality. We're dealing with highly effective, incredibly expensive drugs that, for the most part, require a lifetime commitment to maintain the benefits. So as approvals expand to save hearts, kidneys, and livers, the pharmaceutical industry is obviously thriving. But healthcare budgets, they are straining under the sheer weight of trying to fund these indefinite treatments. So as the therapeutic horizon of GLP-1s miraculously expands, saving lives and protecting organs left and right, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. If our very biology demands that we stay on these drugs forever just to keep the benefits, what is the ultimate biological, psychological, and financial cost of a society indefinitely tethered to a pharmaceutical fix? It is a medical revolution for sure, but it's one that forces us to completely rethink the future of human biology.